You guys can continue to do this. I know that this is regarded as compelling television.
Art 101 with Mr. Burgher.
Scholars, welcome back to another episode of Art 101 with me, Mr. Burgher. I'm a professional artist, a master educator, and I try to provide the best in our historical content. If you like the content, make sure you interact with it. But recently, we have been doing some entertaining sorts of things where we're looking at critique, we're looking at art analysis, we're looking at historical artists and comparing and contrasting and doing all sorts of different things while looking at art. And we did this in the way of a March Madness style tournament.
You know, when you dream and work really hard, a lot of really cool things can happen.
I wanted to give that to you all in one big, long, lumped video so that all of that content was right there together. So this is that video. Enjoy. Scholars, we've decided to do a Sweet 16 type bracket, but you know, basketball, it's not my thing. Wrestling is awesome, but that's old news. Now we're moving on to the real sport, art. And so we have developed at the school in which I teach a Sweet 16, an art Sweet 16, if you will, that really is going to put head to head with the students having control over who advances and who gets left behind. In the first round, on this side of the bracket, we have Leonardo da Vinci, a #1 seed, going up against Man Ray, the famous photographer. Unbelievable matchup. We'll see who comes out ahead. In the comments below, feel free to leave who you feel would win these head-to-head competitions. We have Robert Smithson against Frida Kahlo. Robert Smithson is known for his spiral jetty. Unbelievable piece of artwork going up against Frida Kahlo and her famous Mexican surrealist self-portraits. We also have Georgia O'Keeffe, the American scene painter, with some of her great famous work going up against Paul Gauguin, the post-impressionist. We also have a little bit of a kind of a battle going on down here with the #4 seed Andy Warhol facing Hearst, who is kind of a contemporary artist. Who's going to win the battle between the pop art genres? Now, let's move over to the other side of the bracket.
How much more desperate are they on the other side?
Okay, as we move to the other side of the bracket, we've got our #2 seed, Pablo Picasso, the great master, going up against Joseph Albers and the Homage to Square. So it's Cubism against the Homage to Square. What a battle of, geometry. We also have Grant Wood, the American scene painter from Iowa. He might have a little bit of a home field advantage, being that we're in Iowa, and so we'll see how that shakes out, going up against the great Spanish surrealist Salvador Dali. Who's going to win the battle there? Also, head-to-head, Jamie Wyeth, the New Englander, going up against Bertha Morisot, the French impressionist painter. And so it's kind of stylistically very comparable, but completely different takes. We'll see what the students feel is the #1. Again, down below in the comments, feel free to leave your suggestions on who should win these head-to-head matchups. And lastly, our #3 seed, Vincent van Gogh, going up against James van der Zee, the photographer from the Harlem Renaissance. We'll see how they battle as they go head-to-head.
What you gonna do?
Again, this is a bracket idea that I put together a little bit haphazardly and just to see what the students would feel as far as their critiques of these very famous prominent artists. Next year, maybe we'll expand it. Maybe we'll do something different. Maybe we'll go a little bit deeper. But this year, this is where we're at. And so we're going to meet where the rubber meets the road, so to speak, and move forward. Who do you think is the best of this art Sweet 16?
Other coaches can learn from my experience that he does not listen, so rely on other tactics.
To give you a recap of what went down yesterday with the art Sweet 16, we had Leonardo da Vinci absolutely destroying Man Ray. But Robert Smithson and Frida Kahlo, they were neck and neck. But the middle school students really came in the clutch and put it over the top for Frida Kahlo. Georgia O'Keeffe had absolutely no trouble getting past Paul Gauguin and that post-impressionistic jive. And while the high school students really felt that Hearst had a shot to go all the way, the elementary and middle school students were having none of it. They stepped in and helped Andy Warhol get over the top in a big way. On the other side of the bracket, we had Pablo Picasso crushing Joseph Albers, showing who was boss with geometry. Grant Wood and Salvador Dali were neck and neck until the elementary students really put him over and got Grant Wood the win. With Jamie Wyeth, everybody seemed to be on his corner. But Bertha Morisot, she's no slouch, but maybe next year. And also going over really big was Vincent van Gogh, showing James Van Der Zee just what art is all about.
Yeah, y'all been bamboozled and confused.
I ain't gonna lie.
All right, art scholars, here's how the Elite Eight is shaping out. We've got Leonardo da Vinci, the Renaissance master, Mona Lisa, the most recognized artwork in the world, going up against Frida Kahlo and her vast collection of self-portraits. I don't care how many self-portraits you do, it's going to be uphill for Frida. But surrealism is very popular with kids. Frida Kahlo is very popular. So we'll see how it shakes out. We also have Andy Warhol, the pop art master, facing Georgia O'Keeffe and her American scene paintings. We'll see how it shakes out. Her patriotic theme really got kids over yesterday. We'll see how the voting takes place today. Let's look at the other side of the Elite Eight bracket.
Yeah, boy! Yeah, boy!
So we have Picasso and Grant Wood. Both of these guys had huge wins yesterday. Very, very popular with the students yesterday. Picasso in his cubism going up against the American scene painting of Grant Wood. Again, Grant Wood had a huge home court type advantage. I think he might have that today too. But again, Picasso, our number 2 seed, is going to be really, really tough to take on. And on the bottom side of the bracket, we have Vincent van Gogh and his post-impressionist style, very popular with students, very popular amongst any educational circle, going up against a somewhat unknown of Jamie Wyeth. But his American style, his American themes really got students over yesterday. They really loved the way that he was capturing that Americana flair, and that resonated with students yesterday. We'll see if that lasts going up against the big name of Vincent van Gogh today. Stay tuned. Tomorrow, I'm going to post another one, and you're going to get to see the results of this, and we're going to start to go into the final 4.
Macho Man Randy Savage. What in the world is this, Randy?
A picture is worth 1,000 words.
So previously in the tournament, Leonardo da Vinci has been dominant, taking down Man Ray without hardly breaking a sweat. But going into the Elite Eight, Frida Kahlo looked spectacular, showing dominance over Smithson. But da Vinci was not about to let up, showing their dominance yet again and advancing to the final 4. Some thought that Warhol was a bit of an underdog going in, with Hearst very much being a fan favorite of the high school students, and the fact that Georgia O'Keeffe was completely dominant over Gauguin going into the Elite Eight. But Warhol wasn't going to have any of that, and Warhol had a major victory advancing to that side of the bracket and the Final Four. On the opposing side of the bracket, the number 2 seed Pablo Picasso exerted dominance over Joseph Albers, and Grant Wood was doing just enough to get by. In a very close contest with Salvador Dali, Wood and Picasso were neck and neck. But the middle school students would put Grant Wood over the top of the number 2 seed in advancing to the Final Four. Jamie Wyeth and Vincent Van Gogh were both very dominant in the very first rounds of the Sweet 16. Both getting huge votes at every level. And today when Vincent Van Gogh squared off with Jamie Wyeth, it went down to the wire, literally being decided by 1 vote. But yes, Vincent Van Gogh advances to the Final Four. So let's break down the matchups of our Final Four. We've got the Renaissance master, Leonardo da Vinci, going up against Andy Warhol, the Pope of Pop. What kind of outcome can we expect from this? I have no idea. I think the students might lean a little bit more toward the more contemporary works, but they're very much consistently, I've been hearing a lot of buzz about how do you beat the Mona Lisa, the most recognized artwork in the world. And on the other side of the bracket, we've got the home court advantage, so to speak, with Grant Wood. A lot of students are noticing the Iowa tie. They're voting that way, but also Vincent Van Gogh, a name that is synonymous with art. You can't talk about art without talking about Vincent Van Gogh. So it'll be an interesting a matchup. And again, Grant Wood even getting this far is unbelievable, taking down the number 2 seed of Pablo Picasso. Otherwise, I mean, it's kind of bracketed out the way I kind of anticipated it, with the exception of Grant Wood. I thought there might be a couple of other upsets in there that did not pan out. The students felt like there were going to be some upsets that did not pan out, but that's the way it goes in a tournament like this. Stay tuned for more coming tomorrow.
It's so perfect. Look at that face. Now that's what I call handsome.
It was the classic matchup, Leonardo da Vinci versus Andy Warhol. The Mona Lisa was absolutely dominant all the way through the tournament, while, despite having a great seed, questions were looming about how successful Andy Warhol might be. Hearst was the first obstacle. Georgia O'Keeffe was the second. But the huge mountain of the most recognizable artwork in the world may have been too much, but Andy Warhol did the impossible and advanced into the championship round. You would think that the big name and artistry of Vincent Van Gogh would automatically catapult that artist into the Final Four, but Jamie Wyeth was a formidable opponent. But despite that fact, Vincent Van Gogh was in that Final Four round. And who did they face? The artist that would take down the number 2 seed, Pablo Picasso. That's right, the Iowa native Grant Wood. But although the big name of Vincent Van Gogh would make a lot of opponents just walk away, my students had a different approach, and they came to rumble, advancing Grant Wood into the championship round.
And you're an artist too.
Scholars, here's where we end up for the championship. Andy Warhol, Leonardo da Vinci, the master artist, taken out by the more contemporary Andy Warhol. Absolutely unbelievable. And then on the other side, the outside chance, the home court advantage, Grant Wood takes out Vincent Van Gogh. Unbelievable. And I know you're on pins and needles. Who's going to win this championship? Well, let's take a look.
I love that.
And the 2023 Art Madness champion, Grant Wood. Neck and neck. Half of the day, it was a tennis match. point here, point there, point here, point there, point here. It was just unbelievable. Grant Wood would get a couple of points. Andy Warhol would get a couple points. Grant Wood would get a couple. It was neck and neck all the way up. But then middle school, elementary school, absolutely overwhelmingly in favor of Grant Wood, which surprises me. I thought the bright colors and the pop art of Andy Warhol might put some things in his favor, but no. It seems to me that with this group of students, it was more about the content, it was more about the subject matter than it was about the colors, than it was about any other variable. It wasn't about how much fun it was or anything like that. It was about the meaningfulness of the artwork as opposed to any other variable. Very, very smart. Obviously, these kids have been well trained, and Grant Wood will go into the 2024 Art Madness champion as our #1 seed. We'll see what it looks like with Grant Wood and Andy Warhol next year. Until then, well, you got about a year to prep for that one. So look forward to that. Yeah.
This is just going to be a friendly game, right? We are all on the same team here.
I hope you appreciate that content, and hopefully you weren't too disappointed with the results as they went down. And next year we have some other things planned to maybe expand it a little bit more, but we'll take it one step at a time. But at any rate, I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you interact with it, and we'll see you next time.
That wasn't nice. Nothing but bad news for the Iowa Stallions.
What an idiot.